lot better.
Right.
You know, once they figure they can make money, like, okay, let's say, okay, when we talked about how the federal system does this, so why doesn't the state bulge?
Right.
Well, the state doesn't want the feds to know that there's a drug problem because they get funded by the feds.
Mm-hmm.
If you know there's, if they knew, if the feds knew there was a big drug problem, they take their funds out and
Right.
they take control of the penitentiaries.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
they don't let it be known. And we talked on this yesterday. Uh, I've known of cases where there's pounds. I'm talking about pounds, like street pounds, getting caught up in the system and
In the prison system.
in the prison system.
Sure.
And guess what? Keep it on the hush hush. Give them on take 11 days off. Cool. I mean, you better off selling drugs in the system. You don't get penalized like you do in the streets. They
Wow.
get you out the streets. They want you to come in here and sell the dope. And guess what? If you get caught up, we'll just give you 11 days off. It's a good time. And guess what? Before you get a year before you get out, just ask for it all back and you get it back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
What
how it works.
boy, in prison house gangs, boy, in prison house gangs.
It don't make sense, man.
Right.
It don't make sense, man.
It don't make it really don't, man. I can't imagine someone really competently trying to explain this to the public, right? In a way to say that, okay, a person like yourself, you know, you still have a lot of value to give to the world, right? Okay, we made mistakes and whatever you paid for your mistakes, you did your time. And like the situation you're talking about with the marijuana, that should be something that you would think, okay, let's get that out of there. And let's give this man the opportunity of rehabilitation back in society. But recidivism, man, going back, and I want to talk about this because a lot of brothers, like you said, we was talking the other day, me and you said you had seen a couple of brothers come in there 2, 3 times and leave before you. You know what I'm talking about?
That's a sad situation.
Man,
You got guys coming in there
talk about that.
and well, okay, you got guys coming back in there, whether there's PVs, you know, you get a parole violation, you're doing 90 days, unless you have to see the board, and it can be anywhere from 90 days to a year or even more. But they're beating you inside. You got cats catching new cases,
Right.
still beating you outside. Man, I seen a guy one time, and this is no BS, 4 times in my whole bit, and he beat me out each time
Wow.
with cases way worse than mine. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I just don't get the system at all, man. I
Right.
don't get it at all.
You know,
It's a sad situation. It's going just like that. It's going down just like that.
wow. And it sound, it makes it sound so complex, but at the same time, it makes it sound like this is retarded, man.
Yeah.
But
Why don't okay and not to cut you off. So why not give the guys that are really serious about their life an opportunity?
that's what I'm getting to. Because I'm pretty sure, like one guy is an OG I know, OG Lloyd Fowler, right? He said he got like 27 years in the prison system, and now he's out doing community activism. It's another guy, OG, right? Um, and one of the things he said, he focused on learning the law in there, right? Which now the benefit of what he did, and this is the rehabilitation side that he took upon himself, is that he went to learn the law so that when young brothers come into the system that don't know what's going on. Like for one, he was telling me a story where, all right, there's a bank robber. Dude, in the bank, he just shot 2, 3 people. He don't know what to do next. So he don't understand in his mind, his life is over. So he might kill himself, right?
Right.
He said, but understanding the law, he said, if I have the opportunity to talk to a person in that situation, how he would guide and advise them to prevent them from taking their own life still. But knowing that they have to go into this situation legally, but understanding where you stand. And a lot of times, a lot of people don't know where they stand if they've committed a crime. Of course, I'm not saying go in no bank and kill them. No, I'm just saying
Right.
you could have had a beef with somebody. Y'all got into it and you had to shoot somebody. You had to kill a man, A lot because you don't know where you stand with the law or how the law really works. You incriminate yourself more and more along the way. And then you find yourself with all this time. So one of the things that here's one of the blessings with brothers like himself. They're able to put the information out to people. First of all, avoid all of that kind of drama. I mean, avoid it completely if you can. But the truth of life is that there's some things are going to happen in your life where you're going to have to make a quick decision. And that decision needs to be based on something other than your emotions at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the
Right.
if the decision is based on logical understanding, I got an OG spent 27 years in there, and he mentioned a situation like this. Maybe I need to go down this path. Maybe I need to pick up the phone and call that brother, because it may be sometimes coming in your life where the phone will be picked up and some brother will be calling you for some help. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Your experience, no matter what I can tell them, I can only get them so far sometimes. But your experience of being in that system and how not to keep going back in that system and how to get out of that system and start your life all over again, that's something that you can relate to a young brother or a young sister. And that's more helpful than putting thousands of dollars in their pocket. See what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
You give a person thousands and thousands of dollars, but if their mind not where it needs to be, it's not going to go nowhere, and they're going to only hurt themselves in the process.
Well, and you're right about that, because here's another positive thing. You go in there with me. Let's do some reading. Not only that, okay, I like money. I mean, I'm not gonna front. But is there other ways I can do? Is there other things I can do besides this to make this money? Guess what? There is. You don't have to sell dope no more.
Right.
There's just so many ways to make real money that it's right there in front of you. It's about you just grasping a book or getting into that computer and just really learning, drilling it, and getting it.
Right.
And
right.
you know what? The lawmakers know this now, which is why, again, they condemn some of the BS that happens in there and let it happen, because they know now cats are getting hip, cats like me, and there's cats before me that are out here being very, very successful doing the positive thing. You know what I'm saying? Going legal.
And see,
it's
that's what it's about, though. See, everything is about positivity now. And that's what it should be about. No matter, you coming out doing a stint, doing some time, it's about positivity. Like I said, loyalty brings royalty. It always does.
Yes, sir. Sir.
And we live by that. We live by that. The loyalty brings royalty. And being loyal to the concept of God, right? That I've been through some things, Lord, you really showed me some things in there. People can talk and say what they want, but when you've been through it, that's a whole different situation. So that's why I'm more apt to pay attention to the dialogue of people who've been through things, like myself, going through situations that's tough. And here's the truth about that situation. Here's what really goes on when that situation takes place. Random situations we've all been in. This is what makes our experiences so important. It's so important that these stories be told. These are men who live real lives, from combat to the streets to prison, all of these things. It doesn't make you no less of an individual.
No, it don't.
This is the one thing that, and this is what I say, people make their heroes and champions who they want to make them. But the people that are real, those are the people that you need to create alliances with in life. Because we've all been through things, like I said, we knew each other way back in the days. We've all been through some similar things. We've been through some, when I went through all that with my brother, being murdered, all about all that stuff. So these are things that I have. A brother asked me the other day, how do you get through that? Understanding the relationship I had with my brother, right, with Lance. How did you get through it, right? And it's not no one word to say it. I realized it was a lot of forgiveness that I had to do. I had to forgive a lot of certain different things in my life because I was just angry. A lot of different things took place. And I was angry about that. And I never did get any relief from it. But I understood God was trying to, for me, I had to forgive some people. I had to forgive my father. Really did, but I had to forgive even my mother. And that might sound crazy because my mother was suffering from mental deterioration, but still was unable to take care of it. That put me in the street at a young age,
Mhm.
you know. And I'm trying to be a father to my brothers, which is a child trying to lead children. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
because of all of those experiences, there's still a part of it that makes it real because I lost someone I love in it. That can never be replaced. It's like the time that you lost in 13 and a half years can't be replaced. They're gone. That's it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you can never replace. You lose it's a lot of things that happen while you're in there, man. A lot of losses that you go through and all that, and yeah, you can never redo them. You have to deal with a lot, man.
that's
It's a
right.
very, very sad situation. Very sad situation.
Yeah, but is what I'm saying is that even when you're in a situation that you're in, life still goes on. I mean, I could be dealing with a situation, but in somebody else's life, somebody else is experiencing loss. They experiencing someone else that's got problems, got issues, and they're bringing it to them as well. You know, and for me, there was nothing anyone could tell me to bring me comfort because I was going down that path of something different. You know what I'm talking about? And God
Right.
stopped me there. And this is why I say the power of God is real. I don't care what nobody say. Stop me there. Made me look at me. And not only that, my children. What's more valuable? And I had to learn that concept, but it came through me having to lose my brother first. And like I'm not saying, when you say that was the best thing that happened to you, I don't want to. I don't think that's the best thing that happened to me, but it was some necessary things that had to happen to me during that time. It wasn't the best thing. It was some necessary things I had to address that I wasn't
It was
addressing.
an eye. It's what we call an eye opener. It opened your eyes up.
Right. You know, and how to let certain beefs let them go sometimes, and that was
Yeah.
something that we never did, you know, and that's just the part of learning. And this is what I mean about when you go through life and you make you make decisions that will put you in certain positions, whether they're right or wrong, but you still need to learn something from it. Okay, I can't bring my brother back. You can't get the 13 back. But I didn't talk to numerous young men to try to explain to them, don't put your life on the line like this. Don't throw your life away for something simple over this little broad over here, this little girl. Don't throw your life
Hmm.
away over that. And I thank God because to some degree, a great degree, I was able to resonate with. I didn't think I was, but it was passionate. It was a passion coming out of me concerning the loss I had to take to someone I really love, graphically and violently. So I don't just have that experience just for me. You don't have that experience just for you.
Right.
And like I said, I was talking to them OGs, brother, my older brothers, and they're in their 60s, late 50s, early 60s, that are passionate. They are passionate about their community, not only their community, about the people in it. We want the younger brothers, man, in the black community to do better. We don't want to be killing each other for nothing, man.
Man, they got to open their eyes up. I'll
Killing
tell you
each other
what,
for
man.
nothing, bro. Nothing. I'm talking about nothing, bro.
The system. Okay, mind you, I just came from Lansing. Lansing just built a whole new penitentiary. What they have in store for our youth is ridiculous. I'm talking about 23-hour lockdown because you're gonna get that hour to do your little shower. This is what they want. This is no matter what level you in. Whether it used to be that when you in max, you still got a little bit of a walking movement. Now they're locking you up. Medium, you'll think, okay, that's the next step down. Let's get a little lenient on these guys so they can keep themselves out of trouble and keep their cool. They're still doing the 23-hour lockdown. And this is behind the walls now. I'm talking about what they have for our youth is ridiculous. I mean, they have now what they have pods. So they're sticking you in these 4-man rooms. They're 4-man rooms. and then you have a yard the size of maybe 20 by 13. They put a basketball court there. They put the fences there. On a 20 by 13, they put a goal to the point that you can't even shoot ball, because if you shoot that ball and it boings off the rim to the fence, guess what happens? It gets popped. Meanwhile, they just got you so closed in. They're housing you anywhere. They're not putting you among somebody that you could be comfortable with. They're putting you in anybody. They're putting anybody in that room, and it's just getting way worse, man. And it's mentally getting to these cats. That's why you see a lot of suicide rates coming out the penitentiary. They're trying to get now. They're trying to say, okay, let's get smart. Let's get in these cats mentally. Let's fuck them up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they can fuck themselves up.
Yeah.
And that's where it's at. That's why you got all these drug addicts. I mean, they don't want to live no more. Mm-hmm. They want to walk around high. They don't have nothing for them. So we got to get to the youth and let them know, man, it's all play a game right now. But when you go back there, are you mentally ready for this?
Right. Are you mentally ready? Yeah. And what it can do to you, not only psychologically, but what it can do with holding back who you truly are. And see, this is the point now. Now, the other side of that is now, like for someone like yourself, who I know you're a brilliant brother.
Right.
You're back. Now that you've done your time, right? Going back to jail is not no way in the conversation.
Nah, right. It used to be, not no more.
Yeah.
Remember, I got one in me. Yeah, I used to say, well, I'm gonna get back in the street. I got one more in me. I don't think they're gonna hit me. Nah, I don't even want to. I'm not never going back to that life.
Right, and that's the message. Yeah, you don't want to play with that system and everything that you just graphically described about the system and what they have in store for the people coming to the system. See, a lot of y'all who haven't been in the system, you think it's okay to go out there and do certain things, right, and put yourself in jeopardy to where you can be caught up and involved in the system. And once you're in your system, you see my man Big Pepper telling and sharing the experiences. Once you in that system and you keep playing with that system, just like we can look at, particularly, I know more about his case. He can talk about that at another time, though. But a lot of that time that he did receive almost seems unfair for what it was. You see what I'm saying? And that's how they can play with you in that system. It's your life that they're playing with. But now, back to you, brother. Now that you're out in your mind, you said it yourself, you needed that time, man, to feel out, okay, this is who I really am. I know I have a propensity for money. I know I've been a boss out there in the streets and whatever. You see what I'm saying? Now that you're back, you can't live that way no more. What do you see in your future? As far as you may not be able to pinpoint everything down now, but what do you see? Because this is what I always tell you, man. I believe you have great creativity, and you have a great passion for mentorship. That is a great direction for you, bro. Trust me. Back in the junk, man, you were superstar. Yeah, think about that. Now, that is because, like I always tell you, man, you got that kind of character, and that I know that God has some great and wonderful things for you, brother. So, have you since you just got out, you're still out, you're still probably unraveling yourself. Have you really sat down and say, what I really want to do now? Because you know did, and we talked about trying to do some things to help position you in order to tell this truth to be helpful. Mm-hmm. You have to be compensated for it. And let's talk, I gotta be real about it.
Man, I'll tell you what, man. I mean, if you don't learn patience with that lengthy time, you's a fool. I learned to be. I'm content, man. I'm content where I'm at. I'm not as antsy as when I got out the system. I got to get back at there 2 weeks later. I'm 20,000 plus strong. You know what I'm saying? I can come out broke and have money in my pocket like it ain't nothing, and it's going up each time. I'm not antsy no more, man. I feel like I'm in a good point in my life where now I know what I need to do to make it. Right. Going on a more positive route. Don't get impatient. because being impatient is what got me out in the system anyway, rushing to get that paper. You don't have to rush it, man. At the end of the day, God number one,
Right.
family, then you can start thinking about yourself. You know what I'm saying? And if God is number one, God's gonna make sure you're gonna be all right.
That's right.
You know, that's just what everything he puts in front of you is to make sure you are all right. Just like he put the time in front of me to make sure I was all right.
Real
You know what I'm
talk.
saying? So I'm cool. I'm content, man. Where I see myself doing good, man. I really do. But I can't tell you this right now because I haven't got to that point. But
Yes.
I know it's coming because I'm going to think it to existence. As long as I stay positive and think it, it's going to come for real.
And
And
speak.
that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
And speaking, because words have power. You know,
Yes, yes, yes.
speak. I believe in speaking words of positivity. That's why I speak strong. I don't believe in speaking weak because I'm not weak.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not weak. You're not weak. So
No, I used to tell guys in there, I said, God didn't put us in here to be losers.
right,
We all winners. You know
right.
what I'm saying?